Well, hello again there, YouTube, and thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate people tuning in and spending some of their time with me in this most awful time of year. Let's face it, that section between after New Year's up until springtime, April showers, bring in the May flowers, is just the worst time of the year. It's typically this post holiday depression kind of sinks in. You often have people combating it, this cabin fever, the gray skies, lack of sunshine, and then the snow. Many of you may realize that I am from Chicago. In a lot of my videos, I will use a thick Chicago accent. Believe it or not, that's not my real voice. This is my real voice. Actually, my voice is really a lot lower, so I have to pitch shift it up. Otherwise, only elephants can hear my real voice. But this time of the year, there's just nothing good happens in this time of year. So people, historically would use this as a time of, you go through the holidays and you have the self-reflection at New Year's, and you're gonna set some goals, you're gonna lose weight, you're gonna quit smoking. And like I mentioned, me being from Chicago, historically people would take their family vacations. They would go somewhere where there is not snow. You would go to Florida every year, which we simply just don't have the money nor the desire to travel like that. My wife and I, we are very predictable, lame people that like to sleep in our own bed. We don't like going to a hotel, don't like camping. I love the outdoors. I love something like a forest preserve, a campfire. Being out on the river on my boat for 11 years was the greatest days of my life. But as I grow older, I find this time of the year to just be horrible. I've quit smoking. I went through that vape thing. You'll know that on my channel, going back, there are some vape videos. I vaped for 1 year. And I was making those videos because I was getting my e-liquid and my vape equipment for free because I was doing pro demos. So that's why there's that vape content, and also to keep me busy and keep me excited about that vaping process, which if you are a cigarette smoker or you are a vape person, the way that I quit was to vape, and then eventually I learned to make my own e-liquid, and I tapered the nicotine level very slowly going down in my e-liquid, reducing that nicotine by a half a point, rather than jumping down from 6 milligram to 3 milligram. I mean, I did make some big steps, but as it got closer to, when it got past 3, those steps were in 0.5 milligram increments, and that lasted a year. So by slowly tapering, I found I didn't really struggle with the withdrawal, and because of that, I'm now free from the temptation to smoke. I can be around people that smoke, or cigarette smoke, or vape, and it does not concern me. Whereas in the old days, I had tried to quit 9 times, and I always went back. I would usually make it a month to 3 months, 90 days, and then something would happen. I would, throw a fit, act like a baby, and go out and buy a pack of Marlboros. 2 years ago, after Bowie died, 1 month after Bowie died, I got really sick with panic attacks, which led me into every symptom: fear of impending doom, claustrophobia. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and then I had chest pains and labored breathing, and it was horrible. I lost my mind every day when I woke up, if I had slept, because I went 5 days without any sleep. 5 days. And not sleeping is the worst that you can go through. But if I would sleep, it would be for short periods of time, and I would wake up and I would feel okay. And as soon as I got up and walked, I would be getting to the door, and already it started feeling like I had taken a psychedelic drug. That feeling that your neck is growing, but it was a bad trip every day. I would just completely flip out. And that was a result of testosterone replacement therapy. I was treated for that by this doctor who prescribed me this stuff out of the blue, had me tested, And so I went through hell for 4 months, and I take some different medications that have helped to stabilize me since then, that I probably don't really need. A lot of things have changed for me since then, since 2016 when I went through that. This year, the pain clinic, the hospital that I have been going to for 1 year dealing with my chronic back pain, stopped taking my public aid insurance. So I ran short on my medication, which is a powerful opiate. So I had to reduce that. So I was in withdrawal for a month and a half, and it was tough. I was in a lot of pain and in withdrawal over the holidays. And right after the holidays, we got back into that pain clinic. My wife took me on her insurance, and we finally got it all straightened out and got back in to see the same doctor. And so I went back up to my normal level of prescription, and at that point I broke out in incredible deep canker sores all in the front section of my mouth. For over a month I had these huge sores inside of my lip and then under my tongue. Incredibly painful. Then I sprained my ankle. I stepped in the parking lot. The high-powered lamp had burnt out, and they had a scaffold there. They were going to replace it, but they didn't because I think it was icy. It had stormed that day, and I did not see a storm drain cover, and I stepped in that. It was recessed about 2 inches, and I jacked my ankle, just twisted it completely. And then right after that, my cat got sick. I was recording an album. We lost Augustus, my cat. So he was sick for a week. So I'm struck. That's what I'm dealing with now, is just being lonely and being here every day. I'm sorry. That wasn't the point of why I'm making this video. So this is a horrible time of year. That's why they have Valentine's Day. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. There was this massive school shooting. 17 dead. Please, if you're out there and you're struggling in this time, reach out and get some help. There's always suicides. There was a horrible suicide yesterday in Chicago. The sun is going to come. That's the message that I'm trying to say. If you're struggling and you know what I'm talking about this time of the year being just evil and being empty because of the weather, being locked in your house and not getting any sunshine, which affects you. I mean, I've got a sun lamp here. That's a real thing. That the winter blues type of thing. So it just get some help. There's plenty of support groups. Make a phone call, whatever you got to do. There's no shame in being sad and lonely. That's part of that, is feeling like you're not good enough for a reason, But we all are. We all are special. We all are beautiful. And life is too short, and no one should suffer as much as some of us do. And I'm not saying I'm special. I know I am unbelievably lucky to be born in the United States and to be a white male and to have the life that I did. I'm not kidding anyone. I know how lucky I am. My point is, we all suffer. Some of us, if you've got enough money and you could just jump on a jet and go to wherever you want to go, I guess you don't know what I'm talking about. And this video wouldn't mean anything to you. But I'm here to say, hang in there. If you're going through this horrible winter blues, this cabin fever thing, it's real. There's no shame in reaching out. Do what you have to do to get some human contact, to get out of your surroundings, to make some plans. If you need to seek out counseling, if you need to call a relative whom you've disenfranchised from yourself because of some stupid fight, if you need to go to a church. I apologize to the atheists out there, but there is something real that happens when people gather together to worship. And that is that can be the most powerful type of relief valve that can be a healing force. It can be a restoring type of experience. I'm certainly not a fan of mankind's religion and organized religion. That's a popular thing to state nowadays, to say that I believe in God and my church is in my heart. But I'm talking about loneliness and depression, and that grows out of isolation. So if you're going through this, I'm telling you, seek out others in whatever way, shape, or form you can do that. You can get a hold of your county health department. You can call them and they'll immediately have you see a counselor, which most of the time those people are really good, genuine people, and they're going to help you. If you're a religious person, go online and start looking at churches that are in the area. Maybe you have to drive a couple extra miles to find one with a good worship team. We don't want some kind of pretend small church that there's more people on the stage than there is in the congregation. We want real musicians with real worship where the Spirit is moving. Something like that can be a profoundly powerful experience in this darkest time of need that some of us find ourselves going through every year. Because being alone and isolating yourself and taking it out on your bad habits, whether that be eating, gorging yourself on desserts, chain smoking cigarettes, doing alcohol and drugs, that's all going to make it worse. It feels good in the first, when you're first getting into that, it's gonna help, but it quickly turns around, and you know what I mean. If you're an addict, you know nothing good comes out of that. What we need at this time of the year to overcome this type of depression is human contact. So that's the point that I'm stressing. Human contact and a change of scenery. You can't be locked in your house for as long as it is, a month, 2 months with no sunlight. It's going to start doing really crazy, cuckoo. And then when you pile on all the bad luck stuff that's happening, like what I went through earlier. So my point is, hang in there. Do whatever, if you're too strong-willed and proud to go to a church or reach out and make a phone call or talk to a family member, go to the mall. Start walking at the mall. Join the other elderly people, the zombies that show up at the mall before it opens. Whatever you can do to get out. Start resale shopping. Start hitting, go to the local bookstore and see if they have trivia night or board game night. Whatever you can do, bowling. You need to get out of the house. You need human contact at this time of the year. That's the only thing that's going to help. A sun lamp isn't a bad idea either. But if you're going through this right now, my heart goes out to you. I understand. I'm not a mentally unstable, weak human being. I don't think of myself that way. Everyone in my family, there's no real history of mental issues or difficulties, but we're human beings, and I know what it's like to be isolated since I hurt my back and since I spend most of my time here alone during the day. And even though I have a family and I get to see them at night, it still takes a huge toll being alone during the day. And it's stuff like having my hobby, my little music thing that I can do, playing around with electronics and making music, that's what's been able to pull me through. So that only goes so far in the winter when you don't want to do anything and you're just kind of wasting the days away. Things can get pretty hairy pretty quick after about a month with no sunlight. So these are some little ideas that I had that I could hopefully help someone, help myself. I mean, I've done these things that I'm talking about, and so I know that they do work. So with that being said, my heart goes out to you if you're going through this right now, and I'm there for you. I really am. And I know that we're all flawed, deeply flawed, beautiful human beings. And life is so short that we need each other. And if you can, whatever you can do to break up this monotony and think that every time you go to sleep and wake up, we're one day closer to when the sun is going to shine again and it's going to be back, and there is no excuse to cut your life short, to miss a single day of sunshine. And that's the truth. That is the greatest, God's given gift of nature, whether you believe in God or not. The gift of nature, a beautiful sunrise, a day where the wind is on your face and you're outdoors and you see the leaves and the trees moving, is worth all of the pain and all of the suffering that we could go through. Is just to observe the beauty of, and the tranquility and the peace, the gift of nature. You know, we take the good with the bad. We have to go through this horrible time. If you live in Chicago or any other place that's not, you know, a tropical paradise. I'm sure places like Arizona, you know, have the same thing, but in reverse, when it's incredibly hot for those months where you have to stay in and just run the air-conditioned nightmare, you know. So be strong. Do what you gotta do. Don't be too proud. There's no shame. The shame is in if you do something stupid. Okay? Because never forget how lucky and how blessed you are to have an opportunity to see that beauty, that sunrise, that sunset, whatever it is. Never forget how selfish it would be of you. So be strong, and thank you for joining me. I hope that I was able to make a point without getting too mushy, and I'm sorry that I got emotional. I did not. That was not what I wanted to do, was focus on me or what I've been, or imply that I'm special, because everyone has suffered. Everyone knows what loss and depression and loneliness is. I just wanted to try to do something here today because it seemed to make sense after the news yesterday and kind of what I've been going through the past few years. I've had rough times between New Year's and when spring starts. It's been not good. You know, I'm older and I don't have as big of a list of bad habits that I need to set these goals. Because if if you're smoking and you can go, I quit smoking, and you did that, because I would always do something like that. I would always set a goal, and now it's like there's nothing I can do. Like what am I going to say I'm going to stop doing? Breathing, eating twice a day. I mean, I guess some of the dessert bad habits. I mean, I'm far from perfect. Who am I kidding? There's probably, if I really was honest with myself, there's plenty of things I could do to set a realistic New Year's goal. Just not the obvious, really embarrassing ones. Illegal stuff. So, my heart goes out to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Peace.